we start with the injury status. You get Martin Olsson back and no new ones.
What do you say?
You get Martin Olsson back, yeah, and no new ones on the injury list.
No. Vad säger du?
Inga nya på skadlistan.
Probably when we speak English to each other. Yeah. Swedish. No new ones. So it looks good.
Have you decided the starting 11?
You know me, so the answer is no.
What's important when you play Rangers, tactically?
If we talk about our opponent, I think it's a well-organized, structured team that plays a little bit different, in a different way than we are doing. Anders started to talk a little bit about the way we play, but Glasgow is a quite positional team, but it's also a team that is strong, and we know that when we play in Europe, it's higher intensity, it's more runs in higher speed. Those kind of things will be important tomorrow. And when I say that, it's also important that because we were not happy with the way we performed over 2 legs against Sparta Prague. Quite even games, maybe we had the ball a little bit more, but we need to control the game more against Rangers than we did against Sparta. It's also important that we don't fall into the trap that we need to. When I talked about the physical demands of the game, but that's not the way we want to play the game. So if you understand what I mean, it's more about force them to play our game than we are playing their game. That can be more physical.
Rangers lost here in 2011 and once in 21, I think. And on social media, you're keen to remind them of that. How important is the history ahead of this game?
It's impossible to measure it, and also like the people from Scotland mentioned, it's new players, new coach, and it's basically the same for us. Then we talk about this sometimes before other games also in Allsvenskan, where AIK haven't won here for a long time, but it's not the same players, the same coaches, but in some way that can still be alive, the history. But as I start to say, it's impossible to measure. The thing is that or maybe it's the only thing is that it's a belief here in Malmo that we are good and that we can beat Rangers, and also for the supporters.
Could it also be important to remind the opponents about the history?
Yeah, why not? I haven't seen the video. I think it's if I know our media department, it's done with a lot of love, and I think we need that in football. So I think I believe it's a good one, and it's never a bad thing to remind the opponent that this happened before, and it will probably happen again.
According to the odds, your favorite of this game. Comment about that?
I think we talked about that before some other games in Europe, and I'm really bad at predict results in game. I never bet on anything, so you asked the wrong person. We like Anders also talked about, we have a good picture about our opponent, how strong they are. Then it's always difficult to compare different leagues. We have seen them playing a little bit in Europe, but also in their own league, and we know that they are strong in their league. We are strong in our league, but how can we compare that when we play against each other? So the odds, it's difficult say anything about it.
Who are the favorites?
You tell me. You tell me. We are. I think I can't be in the heads of the Glasgow players or the Glasgow coach, but I can of course speak for myself and my players, and we felt after, like I said, Sparta game that we were a bit disappointed over the performance. We were not ourselves. We felt, and after that we have had four clean sheets in Allsvenskan. We think that we have learned things from that part of the season, so we are stronger now than for a month ago. But then we have our opponent. I'm not sitting here and saying that okay, we are better and they are worse, and we have respect for the opponent, but we are also big beliefs in ourselves. Belief in ourselves.
Hi Hendrik, just continuing on from what Andres was talking about, could you tell us, for our Scottish audience, a little bit about your style of play and why it's maybe a little bit unique?
I can talk for hours about that, but basically it started actually with a little bit how can we give the ball to Anders and then put him up in as many good situations as possible. That was the starting point when I arrived here in November 2022, and then we looked into how Malmo played before and what can we do. So that was actually a starting point, and from there we have developed different concepts. We have been inspired by different teams, and I'm a coach that like to, if you say steal, borrow things, and that was a challenge here, and I think it's always a challenge when you arrive at like big clubs, because they are not always so keen on trying new things, because we have done this for ages. We do this again and again and again. But it was a good moment for me to arrive here, because 2022 was not a good year for Malmö. So the players were more open to change things. So I have been real, and I can still be really positional guy, that you need to stay here, and then we need a player here, and then we need it. But basically, I thought it was kind of boring, and then we started to give the ball to AC, and then we started to Anders, and then we started to develop things around him, so he could be the best version and do the things he's good at. And from there, other things started to develop, and then he got sick the last season, so then we had to twist it a little bit. But that's where our game is now. We want to be close to each other. We want to get the players to feel the joy, and it's not, because it can I understand that it maybe sounds like we give the ball to Ace and then he solves it. It's not the case. It's really strict in some other parts, but not from a positional point of view. And I think that's also make it a little bit unpredictable for the opponent. Sometimes unpredictable for me as a coach also, because I'm like, fucking hell, now what is happening on the pitch? And you like, as a coach, you like to say like, okay, now we do like this, and you feel like God, and I don't feel like God. But then still it's a little bit more fluid game, and we see the effects where players, like I said, joy. They feel the joy in the game, and that gives us something else, and then you get energy from that, and then other cooperation on the pitch starts to happen, and we never know really which direction it will take, so it's a bit unpredictable, as I said, for me as a coach also. But I think that the level on the way we play is very high. Again, we didn't do what we wanted to do exactly against Sparta Prague, but that was also them being really good in closing us down. So I hope we can can play our game more against Rangers, but we know that they're also good in closing down the opponent.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's always difficult to talk about. It's a lot of cliches and yeah, but hopefully we can show tomorrow in the way we play.
Perfect. Thank you.
Daniel, next. Behind.
You heard me asking Anders earlier about the games in January. What's your view on that, and will it be challenging in terms of injury risk? Or?
First, we don't think it's a bad thing to play a lot of games, and we love to have a lot of games and play these kind of games. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is that, of course, we need to look into how is the, if you call it the work environment for the coaches and the players on the top level. Now we will basically have no vacations. We don't have it during the weeks neither. It's so many games. So and the recovery part as a human being is a thing that is important. I heard. And like Ace Anders said, when you also play in the national team, and you then it's high demands physically, but also mentally. And I think a lot of players and coaches get burned out. But that's a bigger question. And then I know also we talk about the biggest clubs. They also go on tournaments and play a lot of games outside that because they want to have even more money. So I think it's a money question. But it's sometimes a lot of times it's the players and the coaches that are the ones that get exposed for the risk to get burned out or injuries.
But you have Sergio Peña in your squad, and he's playing for the Peruvian national team and fly over to South America.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Is it
special? We try to find. I got a lot of criticism here from people when I rotate. That's one way of handling the load. For example, Sager, we know that if he is playing two games for the national team and then travels from South America, it takes a couple of days. We had the same with Derek Cornelius. You can't just put it into the game and expect him to perform on the highest level. So we try to find a way there. But it's like individual, and it's respect the recovery for the players. It's tricky. But again, like the first thing I said here, it's that it's also positive. We here in Sweden, I don't think that we have big problems with that, but we need to solve how we can make sure we have some kind of vacation also, so we get the recovery we need. But right now it's just fun, and we're looking forward to play a lot of games now.
Caroline på bordet. Mikrofon.
Bouncing back to the social media video, it says, "Welcome to Malmo Rangers, we've missed you." And some Rangers fans has responded calling Malmo the most irrelevant club in Denmark. And Norway's smallest football team. What's your response?
Like I said, I think then I'm really sure that our video was a bit fun also, and I think the response is also with that spirit, and that's my experience from the Scottish supporters. That a lot of passion, a lot of joy, you can say, but also fun part. So I don't see any problem with it. I think it's really nice.
Do you think it reflects somehow what the game's going to be like?
If it's, I think the game gonna be intense, and it's gonna be a really tough game. This is maybe a little bit more with I don't know the English word. Glimt. It's like someone.
I think glimpse you can use.
Yeah, when you like glimpse.
I think glimpse, or anyone can help me?
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glimpse,
Yeah.
So you and the game will not be like that. So, but it's a good build up to the game. I usually, like the Swedish media knows, I can talk too much and say really. I think I say it with a kind of.
Glimpse.
but that falls out from the text the media is writing or something. But in this sense, our media department already done it, so I don't need to.
Ja, det låter Johan. Ja.
Henrik, as a player, you didn't play in Europe in the group stage, no?
No, it was a different kind of competition than.
Yeah, but this is the first game as a player or a coach in
In
a group stage or league phase, or what we now call
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
How does that feel to be in that?
Yeah, it's difficult to answer because I'm not in it yet. Tomorrow I will be in it, so. But I think it's like if I'm zoom out and answer like from a bigger perspective, it's difficult sometimes to and that goes also back to the circumstances in the business. It's because it's always a new game, so it's difficult to sometimes take the moment to also enjoy. And that's why it's important that we play the way we play, so we enjoy ourselves when we play. But when you face a new challenge, you don't think so much about it. And it was the same now when we had the qualification for Champions League. I think now you get me going, so you maybe have to stop me. But like Theodore, one of my assistant coaches, one of his biggest goals has been to be coaching in a game where we talk about like the Champions League and the hymn before. And then when we played here at home against Sparta, we went in. It was is it called hymn?
Anthem.
Anthem, the Champions League anthem. And then he was like talking with our doctor about something that there were different places they were sitting at. So he didn't even hear the anthem. So and then like the day after, like, did they even play it? Yeah, they played it. Oh fucking hell! I've looked forward to that for like my whole coaching career, and then I missed it. So that only means also that we need to get into the Champions League next year. But I think that's. In life sometimes you miss it, you forget about it, and so I haven't thought so much about it more than that I'm happy that because when Malmo hired me, one of the goals were to play in the group stage in Champions League or Europa League. We don't play Conference League. It's as you know, Djurgården that is playing in. This is said with a bit of
Glimpse.
Yeah. No, but. So you feel a bit satisfaction, but you also know that moment when you start to feel too much satisfaction, then somebody else is running past you. So you need to be on your toes all the time. But I'm happy that Malmö FF is in the group stage of Europa League. Now we need to perform also.
But what does it say about Malmö's status in Europe or somewhere that you are the favorite ahead of a game against Rangers?
Yeah, we can look at other things than the odds. We can see the amount of money Glasgow put on players and coaches, and then they are above us. I think their coach earns a little bit more than me, for example. But maybe the media from Scotland knows it better. No, but We can also see it as a way of that we are strong and that people respect us. So I have no problem with that. But we're also aware of the strength in that Glasgow possess.
Last question. You have your Relationism friend in Scotland, Jamie Hamilton. Have you talked to him ahead of this game?
I haven't spoken with him directly now, but we speak a lot, like on a daily basis. But then it's more about our game and things that we can add to the way we play. And that's the way I work. I have a lot of people I have contact with from different areas, and then they can give me a perspective that maybe nobody else can give. So that was, I say it again for the third time, I was not happy with the way we performed in some ways against Sparta, especially away. So I hope that we can in this Europa League phase show ourselves in a better way.